نحمد ونصلي على رسوله الكريم أما بعد فقد قال الله تعالى في القرآن المجيد بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والذين جاهدوا فينا لنهدينهم سبلنا وإن الله مع المحسنين صدق الله العظيم. وقال عليه الصلاة والسلام من تشبه بقوم فهو منهم. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Just a quick reminder, as before I actually delve into the topic I want to discuss this week, in regards to, as I had mentioned last week, that we have entered into the sacred month of Dhul Hijjah. Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu narrates from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam that there are no good deeds that are more virtuous than the deeds, the amal that are done in these first 10 days of Dhul Hijjah. And some of the Sahaba were a little perplexed. They wanted to ask the Prophet ﷺ to get more clarification. They said, not even jihad? The Prophet ﷺ said, not even jihad in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Except for that person who leaves his life, who leaves his house in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and he risks all his wealth, he risks everything, he risks his life for the sake of Islam. So for these first 10 days that we have a few more days until Eid, that we should try to make the most of these days. So inshallah, we should try and engage in nawafil, fasting, sadaqat. Nevertheless, last week I had spoken about these as Muslims, they have come to this country. We are here as immigrants. And as we come to this country, we find these tendencies to be attracted to the various celebrations, the festivities, the traditions that we see in North America, like Halloween, Valentine, Christmas, etc. And the roots of these are nothing but un-Islamic. They come from the Romans, the pagans, mushrikeen, Christianity. Rather, we learn in this month, the month of the Hijjah, a sacred month, of the sacrifices of great people like Ibrahim alayhi salam. As we see the people of the Hujjaj, they're commemorating their performing the Hajj in various rituals that celebrate Ibrahim alayhi salam and his sacrifices. And we need to have pride. We need to have pride and happiness, in a sense of, as I mentioned, our Islamic identity. It is something that we should be happy and we should feel joy in these days. But as I speak about this topic and we learn, or we might even know about this topic, that, okay, I'm a Muslim, this is my Islamic identity, this is my Islamic heritage, this is something I need to do. But it reminds me of this short story, and I probably have shared this story before, but it's a story I like to share, that there was once a man, his child wanted a parrot. And this was in Pakistan. He goes to the bazaar to go purchase a parrot. He sees the parrots are for 5,000, 10,000 rupees. He's looking through the market. He's browsing just like how we browse through the market. And he sees one that is about 50,000 rupees. And he's perplexed. He's shocked. That why is this so expensive? He goes to the shopkeeper, asks, why is this so expensive? And he says, go ask the parrot yourself. The man asks the parrot, that it seems a little silly that he's asking the parrot, why are you so special? But he asks the parrot, why are you so special? The parrot replies, Alhamdulillah, I'm a hafiz. We all know where the story is going to go, but this man didn't think too well. He purchases a parrot. He comes home, and he is a married man. He has a kid. His wife asks that, okay, you bought stuff. What did you bring? Oh, I bought it. How much you buy it for? I bought it for 25,000. He's like, are you crazy? Why would you spend so much on a parrot? He's like, it's special. Go ask the parrot why he's so special. So the wife goes and asks, why are you so special? Parrot says, gives the same reply, Alhamdulillah, I'm a hafiz. So the wife says, okay, that's good. Okay, read Surah Baqarah. Alhamdulillah, I'm Hafiz. Okay, so read Surah Al Imran. Alhamdulillah, I'm Hafiz. At least read Surah Fatiha. At least you should know Fatiha. Alhamdulillah, I'm Hafiz. Yes, we know how the story went, and we might think it's a little silly, but when we reflect and we see this story, it is a very deep lesson that we know Islamic heritage, we know our Islamic identity, but the question comes as to how do we reflect upon these? How do we bring those in our life? Do our actions and our lifestyle represent that Islamic heritage? Do we have joy that these are the day of Dhul Hijjah? Nevertheless, connecting this to another aspect I want to address, that politically in the world, whenever there is a powerful country or a large country, they have these things known as ambassadors that is, put or place and employ in different places in different countries. And ambassadors have two main responsibilities. One is to show up for their job, because if you don't show up for your job, you're going to get fired. But second and most importantly, that ambassador has to do is he needs to represent and reflect and show the values of that country he's representing. That country that he is representing. And if the person, the ambassador, does not do these two responsibilities, one, he doesn't show up for a job, he's clearly going to get fired. But if two, he says something, and we see in the news that various ambassadors, that they lose their job, they lose their position because they did not represent, they did not reflect the views of the country they represent. Similarly, you might be asking, why am I talking about ambassadors? And why am I talking about Islamic heritage? To put it together, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made this deen since the beginning of time a one with ambassadors. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had sent the Anbiya alayhimus salatu wassalam to the earth to do that, to be representatives of the deen and to proclaim and tell people about Allah, about His ahkam, what He wants from us, how we are to live our life. And after the Anbiya alayhi salatu wasalam, we had, the last of them was Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wasallam. And as we know, Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wasallam was the Khatam al-Nabiyyin. He was the seal of the prophethood. There are no more prophets to come. Therefore, there are no more ambassadors. But the question comes, is the ambassadorship done? No. As yesterday I was speaking about, we had a session about the Sahaba radiallahu anhum. That the Sahaba radiallahu anhum and the Tabi'een and the Taba Tabi'een, until today, that ambassadorship, that responsibility remains. It still remains till today. And it's not an easy job. It is not a simple and easy job. We hear the story of the Prophet, we read the stories of the prophets, of Musa alayhi salam, how he had to face difficulties with his people. Nuh alayhi salam, how he had to face difficulties with his people. The Quran tells us that Nuh alayhi salam, he did this ambassadorship, this responsibility for 1,000 years. Allah Ta'ala tells us in the Quran, in Surah Nuh, قَالَ رَبِّ إِنِّي دَعَوْتُ قَوْمِي لَيْلًا وَنَهَارًا. It wasn't just a daytime job, but I called the people Layla wa nahara, night and day. I was constant in my struggle, in this responsibility. So it wasn't a simple job. It is a job that is upon us. It's a responsibility upon us. Allah Ta'ala tells us in the Quran, وَإِذْ قَالَ رَبُّكَ لِلْمَلَائِكَةِ إِنِّي جَاعِلٌ فِي الْأَرْضِ خَلِيفَةً. Allah Ta'ala tells us, as He's explaining to the angels in Surah Baqarah, the angels are asking that, why are you creating مَن يُفْسِكُ الدِّمَاءَ? Some people that will, spread fitna, people that will spread violence. Why are you creating insan? Inni ja'ilun, I am creating a khalifa, a representative. Humankind will have this ambassadorship. And as I mentioned, that this ambassadorship comes with two jobs. One, to show up, two, to representative. And if we do not do this job, Allah Ta'ala tells us in the Quran that وَاللَّهُ الْغَنِيُّ وَأَنْتُمُ الْفُقَرَاءُ وَإِن تَتَوَلَّوْا يَسْتَبْدِلْ قَوْمًا غَيْرَكُمْ ثُمَّ لَا يَكُونُوا أَمْثَالَكُمْ. That Allah Ta'ala tells us that وَإِن تَتَوَلَّوْا, if you turn away from this job, if you turn away from this responsibility, يَسْتَبْدِلْ. Allah doesn't need us. Allah doesn't need us. He can change us. He can fire us and get another people for the job. Allah Ta'ala clearly says in the Quran that you turn away from this, do i'rad, turn away from responsibility. There's other people that Allah will bring in. And we see this all around the world. It's a huge blessing that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given this iman. And it's not merely, okay, maybe we might still have iman. Some people, Allah protect, that they lose their iman. But sometimes it comes to the extent that, as I mentioned, do we have the happiness that these are the days of Dhul Hijjah? Do they bring happiness and joy to us as to what they represent? Or are we shy? Do we change our name from Muhammad to Mo? Do we change our name from Ali to Al? Do we not dress like a Muslim? If anyone was to ask that, are you a Muslim? We would shyly say, maybe. Okay, yes. Sometimes we will hide away from the iman. This is also shying away from that responsibility. But rather, if the Sahaba radiallahu anhu, if anyone was to ask that they were Muslims, yes, we're so happy to be Muslims. Bilal radiallahu anhu, he was being tortured. He was being tortured, dragged through the streets. The stories say they would put a huge giant boulder on his chest and he couldn't even move. But what did he do? He had that ambassadorship. He knew his responsibility. He had pride that he was a Muslim. He kept on saying, Ahad, Ahad. He believes in Allah. I am a Muslim. Nevertheless, we delved and talked quite a bit about what it means in these days, that how blessed these days are, as we've been talking in the last couple of weeks as well, and how important it is for us to really have that embedded into our lives, have that smile, that khushi, the happiness about these days. And if we do not, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala clearly told us that this is a ni'mah to you. If we don't, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can easily take away any mercy. There was this one story of a very poor man. He was a very poor man, and there was a prophet at that time. The prophet told him that, he was just mentioning that we should be grateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the man says that what do I need to be grateful for? All I have is this one cloth. I only have this one cloth. Allah, what he did is that he made the wind blow, and that one cloth he had flew away. Allah Ta'ala tells us in the Quran that if you do shukr, لَأَزِيدَنَّكُمْ, I will give you more. This is a way for us to show shukr. We should show happiness. We should do shukr to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Thank you, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, for giving me this deen, for giving me these days, these ayyam, these blessed days of Dhul Hijjah. Lest it be that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not allow us to see these days again. So we should reap the most benefit. And the second part of the ayat is that if you're to do shukr, لَأَزِيدَنَّكُمْ, I will give you more. وَإِن كَفَرْتُمْ, if you are to neglect my mercies, إِنَّ عَذَابِي لَشَدِيدٌ, my punishment is very severe. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to protect us from such. And just quick advice for how we should benefit from these days, that we should, it's the same reminder that we always hear, that abundance of the Quran. Connect to the Quran. Read the Quran as much as you can. And learn the deen. As I mentioned, that this ambassadorship is not like, it's a big responsibility on the ummah. We should learn what Allah wants from us in every single step of our life. Connect to the ulama. Ask the ulama. Allah Ta'ala tells us that if you do not know something, ask the people who know. Ask the people of knowledge. So my dear respected brothers, we conclude with this dua that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allows us to reap the most benefit in these virtuous days, and make it a means for us to be able to connect to Him and truly represent this ambassadorship that He has bestowed upon us. Wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen.
Assalamu alaikum. The volunteers are requested to proceed through the lines. You can also donate online at masjid.ca or e-transfer at masjid.ca, or scan the QR codes that are up around various locations in the masjid, and they'll take you to the donation page. So appreciate everyone's support. So of course we ask everyone to continue to wear masks, maintain their 6 feet distance, and bring your prayer mat. Of course, the rules have changed, so there's a lot more people here. So again, as you're exiting, please try to maintain that distance as you leave. The Friday talk is 1:10 every week. You can stream it live also on the website and also on the YouTube channel. Our Seerah Halaqah is in person, however, it's currently on a break as our Imam is away. So the Seerah Halaqah for 2 weeks will not be happening. The Sisters Weekly Halaqah will take place Saturday at 10:30 a.m. over Zoom, and you can sign up for the Zoom link at masjid.ca. Brock Elementary is looking for both the registrations are open for all grades, and also they're looking for qualified teachers for the upcoming year. For both, you can contact info@bes.school. As you know by now, Eid al-Adha will be celebrated on Tuesday. That's the 20th of July. There will be 6 prayers here at the masjid. We're starting at 6:15 a.m. First one will be at 6:15 a.m. and every 45-minute interval we'll have the next prayer up until 10 a.m. is the last prayer. So first prayer 6:15, last prayer at 10 a.m. For more information and the details, you can see the website at masjid.ca. The first prayer is on a first come first served basis, so line up for the first prayer at 6:15. The remaining prayers will have pre-registration as well as a walk-in combination. So the registration will open tomorrow, Saturday at 5 p.m. sharp, online at masjid.ca. So I'll repeat that. So the first prayer at 6:15 is first come, first served. The remaining prayers will be a combination of registration and walk-in, and the registration opens at 5 p.m. sharp tomorrow, online at masjid.ca. For our schools here, the evening Quran school, the Saturday boys school, and the Friday girls school, as well as the Hifz school, registration is all open. You can contact the office or send an email. We've also coordinated for Qurbani with the Penny Appeal. It's a registered charity. You'll see the poster outside. They're actually here on site today. They've set up a booth outside just to allow for distancing as well as with the restrictions in place. So you can see the booth. It's on the north side of the building. Right after the prayer, you can look for the volunteers there in the orange shirts. And they're here to accept your Qurbani registration as well as answer any questions you may have. You can visit the website to register for the Qurbani as well. And they do local as well as abroad. More information is available with the volunteers from Penny Appeal outside. Lastly, we make dua for all those who are ill. In particular, there's a sister, Salma Sultan, who's ill. Make dua for her as well as others, and also for those who have passed away.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
الحمد لله الذي لولا لطفه ما اهتدينا ولولا فضله ما تصدقنا ولا صلينا ولا صمنا ولا ضحينا ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له ونشهد أن سيدنا ومولانا محمدا عبده ورسوله الذي أنزلت به السكينة عليه أنفسنا وأهلنا فدينا ولولاه ما عرفنا الحق ولا درينا صلى الله عليه وسلم وعلى آله وأصحابه الذين شهدوا بدرا وحنينا. أما بعد، فقد آت ذو الحجة الحرام شرعت لنا فيها أحكام، وقال عليه الصلاة والسلام: لا سيما صوم عرفة التي قال فيها عليه الصلاة والسلام: صيام يوم عرفة أحتسب على الله أن يكفر السنة التي قبل والسنة التي بعده. ومنها التكبير دبر الصلوات المكتوبات، وكان عبد الله رضي الله تعالى عنه يكبر من صلاة الفجر يوم عرفة إلى صلاة العصر يوم النحر يقول: الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله والله أكبر الله أكبر ولله الحمد. وكان علي رضي الله تعالى عنه يكبر بعد صلاة الفجر يوم عرفة إلى صلاة العصر من آخر أيام التشريق، ويكبر بعد العصر. ومنها إحياء ليلة العيد، أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم، والفجر وليال عشر والشفع والوتر. بارك الله لنا ولكم في القرآن العظيم، ونفعنا وإياكم بالآيات والذكر الحكيم، إنه تعالى جواد كريم ولكم بر رؤوف رحيم، فاستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. الحمد لله نستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا، من يهد الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له، وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله أرسله بالحق بشيرا ونذيرا بين يدي الساعة. من يطع الله ورسوله فقد رشد، ومن يعصهما فإنه لا يضر إلا نفسه ولا يضر الله شيئا. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. اللهم صل على محمد عبدك ورسولك وصل على المؤمنين والمؤمنات والمسلمين والمسلمات وبارك على محمد وازواجه وذريته. قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم: ارحم امتي بامتي ابو بكر، واشهدهم في امر الله عمر، واسلكهم حياء عثمان، واقضاهم علي، وفاطمه سيده نساء اهل الجنه، والحسن والحسين سيدا شباب اهل الجنه، وحمزه واسد الله واسد رسوله رضوان الله تعالى عليهم اجمعين. ربنا لا تجعلنا فتنة للقوم الظالمين ونجنا برحمتك من القوم الكافرين. اللهم اعز الاسلام والمسلمين، اللهم اعز الاسلام والمسلمين، اللهم انصر الاسلام والمسلمين في كل مكان. رب اغفر وارحم وانت خير الراحمين. اللهم مغفرتك اوسع من ذنوبنا ورحمتك ارجى عندنا من اعمالنا. ربنا تقبل منا انك انت السميع العليم، وتب علينا يا مولانا انك انت التواب الرحيم. اعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. ان الله يأمر بالعدل والاحسان وايتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون. فاذكروني اذكركم واشكروا لي ولا تكفرون.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح. قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة. الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله.
الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. سبح اسم ربك الأعلى الذي خلق فسوى والذي قدر فهدى والذي أخرج المرعى فجعله غثاء أحوى. سنقرئك فلا تنسى إلا ما شاء الله إنه يعلم الجهر وما يخفى ونيسرك لليسرى فذكر إن نفعت الذكرى. سيذكر من يخشى ويتجنبها الأشقى الذي يصلى النار الكبرى ثم لا يموت فيها ولا يحيا. قد أفلح من تزكى وذكر اسم ربه فصلى. بل تؤثرون الحياة الدنيا والآخرة خير وأبقى. إن هذا لفي الصحف الأولى صحف إبراهيم وموسى. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. والضحى والليل إذا سجى ما ودعك ربك وما قلى وللآخرة خير لك من الأولى ولسوف يعطيك ربك فترضى ألم يجدك يتيما فآوى ووجدك ضالا فهدى ووجدك عائلا فأغنى فأما اليتيم فلا تقهر وأما السائل فلا تنهر وأما بنعمة ربك فحدث. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد وبارك وسلم. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. وقنا عذاب